This statue here in Bloomsbury Square in London depicts a commanding figure who dominated British politics in the late 18th and early 19th centuries. He was Charles James Fox, and his name has echoed down through history as a major political leader, despite the fact that he was never Prime Minister. I'm Dr. Nigel Fletcher, I'm a political historian, and I'm the author of a new book called The Not Quite Prime Ministers, telling the stories of all the many people who've served as leader of the opposition but failed to make it to 10 Downing Street. And Fox here is the first one that I've chosen to profile, and he stands out as a big figure in every sense. This statue is actually quite flattering. There's one in Parliament which shows his rather large stomach bursting out of his tailcoat. He liked the good life, and I don't mean the 1970s BBC comedy. I mean he enjoyed gambling, drinking and womanising. His gambling was such that at one point his father had to bail him out after his debts reached the eye-watering level of around £14 million in today's money. And there's a great story of how on one occasion he spent the day at the racecourse gambling and losing heavily, then stayed up all night drinking with friends to drown his sorrows. Which was fine, except that the following day he was due in Parliament to present his first piece of legislation. He turned up at the House of Commons, having not been to bed, having not prepared his speech, and having not even written the bill that he was supposed to be presenting. Only a miracle could save him from utter humiliation. But thankfully for him, he was a miraculously good orator. He delivered a superb speech without notes, demolishing the other side, and won the vote. It was, as someone who saw it commented, a genius performance. And it was his skill as an orator, initially in opposition to the government, that made his name in Parliament. And he predictably rose to high office, being appointed as Foreign Secretary in 1782. But by that time he had a powerful enemy, the King. George III absolutely loathed Fox. He blamed him for being a bad influence on his son, the Prince of Wales. And to be fair, the two of them were as bad as one another, drinking and gambling their way across London. Fox had also spent much of his time fiercely attacking the King's government, and in those days the monarch took that personally. Today we're used to the Crown being above party politics, but back then King George III was openly supportive of his Tory Prime Minister, William Pitt the Younger, and he waged a personal campaign against Fox. The personal hatred between the two men was the main reason that Fox spent over 20 years as leader of the opposition instead of becoming Prime Minister, as he would have hoped to do. The best chance that Fox had to become Prime Minister was when George III suffered his famous bout of mental illness in 1788, which left the King incapacitated. Preparations were then made for a regency bill that would have given the Prince of Wales the powers of the Crown, and he would almost certainly have appointed Fox as his Prime Minister. Unfortunately for both of them, and as you'll know if you've seen the film The Madness of King George, the King recovered a few months later, before the bill could be passed, and Fox was left in opposition. He made a significant contribution in Parliament throughout the rest of his career to campaigns for civil liberties and against the slave trade, and he even made a brief return to office as Foreign Secretary just a few months before he died in 1806. But whilst George III lived, he never stood a chance of getting to number 10. He was buried in Westminster Abbey, and his tomb is a huge marble sculpture showing him reclining dramatically on his deathbed while figures mourn at his feet. And the statue behind me here was unveiled in 1816, showing him in an idealised pose as a Roman senator. It was paid for by a group of his rich friends, and in a final characteristic legacy, they also had to clear his remaining gambling debts as well. So, that's Charles James Fox, the first of our leaders of the opposition to not quite become Prime Minister. He was certainly a very colourful character, and if you want to know more about him, do please buy my book, where you can read about how he was nearly killed in a duel with pistols, and why he found himself organising a riot from a coffee bar. That's The Not Quite Prime Ministers, published by Biteback on the 21st of September, and available to order now. Thanks for watching. I'm Nigel Fletcher, and I'll be back with more videos like this one very soon. Make sure you've liked and subscribed to my channel, and switch on notifications so that you don't miss the rest of the series.